friends. This is basically going to be one gigantic sketchbook tour, but I wanted to do a YouTube video and talk a little bit more about what I learned in my 365 project. So if you've been following me for a while, you probably know that I started this project after having a really long time of hating everything I made. So in April of 2020, after I'd been in lockdown in New York City for a couple of weeks from COVID, I decided to make use of the time, thinking I would do a 100-day project and then we would be done with COVID and I'd be ready to reemerge as a better artist. So here are the sketchbooks I've filled up, except for this one is one I'm currently working on. And I did a few digital pieces, not very many though, because it's not really my forte. So starting in April 2020, this is a Stillman and Burns sketchbook. I love them. This is by Mercurial Milk. This as well. Bought some stickers for her. I love her art journaling. So this is day one. I really wanted to start like a fresh, clean sketchbook for this whole project. So I started out doing really clean pieces, like just spot illustrations on white backgrounds, which is kind of funny because I'm not doing much of that right now. And then, peppering in some full page illustrations along the way. So I do want to say that something I learned while I was doing this was that I couldn't have done it if it hadn't been COVID lockdown. I know it seems silly to credit COVID with anything, but I work full time, so this is the project I was doing after work, and it was basically the only thing I did. So I would work all day, and then switch desks to my couch desk in the living room, and work on this. So if I had plans or going to see musicals or whatever I usually do during normal life, I wouldn't have been able to do it. Another thing I learned was that I just don't know what's going to work. Like this piece here, this Forget-Me-Not, went like mildly viral on TikTok. I mean, it's fine. I like it fine still. I think it's a good piece, but I don't know why this one did and like this one was terrible on the internet. So it was really important for me to see like the pieces that I probably wouldn't have even posted. Like I'll put one up here. I did kind of a pattern illustration of rabbit heads that was literally because I didn't know what to do that day and I didn't feel like painting. So, and that one went properly viral on Pinterest. So that was just something that was really interesting to see. So at this point we are in August of 2020 and Lee Alexson, maybe that's how you say it. And my aunt gave me this lovely sticker. So here I feel like you can kind of see me loosening up a little bit. I have like this feeling with these pieces that you can kind of tell it's summer and like ready to try some new things. And you do see a lot of cover-ups because I had a lot of like mess up pages. So I keep an ugly sketchbook as well. So these weren't even actually part of my project. They were extras. Playing with some color palettes. Around this time I did do a book cover challenge where I did 7 days of 7 book covers, which was really ambitious. There is a video of that on my YouTube channel, so I'll link to it here, but I don't think I would do that again. So I guess that's something else that I've learned doing this challenge was that rest is like really important. It was good for me to have the intention to paint every day, and honestly, like now that I'm done with the challenge, I'm still painting every day, but it's really unhealthy for like your body and everything to not take rest when you need it. So you do see a lot here where I'm doing like really quick pieces, or like you can kind of tell just looking at them which ones I did on the weekends versus the weekdays where they are a little bit more detailed. So this is one of the pieces that really was a turning point for me. I'm not sure what number day we're on here. I can check. But I finished this piece and I was like, oh, maybe this is actually going to work. And also around this time, I decided, like, my 100-day project was over, but I decided to just do 365 since COVID was still around. And honestly, I wasn't doing much else, so it makes sense to keep going with this. And I just feel like this is the direction I really want to go in with my art, like keeping with the pastel colors and the iridescence, but a little bit more refined while also being loose, if that makes sense. I haven't quite nailed down the language yet, which I think probably will help me nail down the style, but yeah, I was really pleased with this, and the internet didn't like it, and that's okay. So I guess that's the next thing I learned, was that it is practically impossible not to paint for social media. Like, I was lucky to a few years ago have some posts take off and get a bunch of followers on Instagram, and after algorithm changes, like basically nobody sees my posts anymore, which like is fine. It's a extra thing for me. It's not my full-time job, and I'm not making money on Instagram, but it is really difficult not to paint and think, will the internet like this? Though I suppose maybe it's good that nobody's seeing my posts, so I can like do my work just for myself while I'm growing like this. Shout out to Daisy Drew and Mercurial Milk again, and Leah Lexon again, and this is my own. Look at that little guy. You saw him in a previous flip through. Oh, so now we are in November of 2020. This is when we found out we won the election. Very exciting. And I feel like these, oh no, this guy's from right here. That's kind of funny. So these pieces I feel like really took me to that level of talking about the statue had, like that refined but also loose, you know, kind of like more technically sound, but still having fun and like being playful with colors and shapes. Yeah, this one too. I feel like this piece was when I was like, man, I think maybe I'm actually improving a little bit. Because throughout this, it's really hard to see your sketches day to day and know that you're growing. You'll see some ugly sketchbook cover-ups here. I did a Saturday morning call with some friends where we did like life drawing and figure drawing and like prompt drawing just to keep in touch and to grow. So a lot of these are ugly sketchbook paste-ins. The sketchbook honestly was like a little bit too big for me. I have a hard time filling the pages. Like, it's different when it's a full page illustration. This was something really fun, like a departure for what I normally do. But like to do a bunch of spot illustrations, like I really admire artists who can fill a page and have it be like designed with all of their small spot illustrations, but that's just not something I've been able to conquer yet. I'm more of a one illustration per sketchbook page person so far. I do really like it though. Another thing I learned, and I think you can really see it in these pages, that when you're painting every day, you don't feel the pressure to make each painting doing like 100% of what you want to communicate about your art. Like, I knew I loved pastel colors, but I didn't feel like I needed to do every illustration in this exact color scheme. Like, I could branch out to something like that has a little bit of realism in it, because I knew I'd be painting the next day, so I can let myself try whatever I wanted. I can try doing pencil line art more, or like incorporating more mixed media or incorporating people, because the next day I can go back to whatever is most comfortable for me. Now we're on to this beautiful handmade sketchbook by Sketchbook Co. So it is made from a vintage book. Here's their logo, and with rag watercolor paper. It's so beautiful. But it is like, I wasn't doing a lot of watercolor work, or I'm not anymore, I suppose. Like, I use it as a mixed media, but not by itself. And this paper is like the proper, like cold pressed, really textured. So I had a little bit of trouble like readjusting to that after using smooth papers for so long. So on this page, like I had each one of these flower illustrations be one day, so I wasn't trying to burn myself out. And then I can tell you without looking at the date that I did this on a weekend, because I know I had a little bit more time to like really make sure I had enough detail that I wanted to post the final illustration. I think honestly posting it was kind of the crux of the issue. Like, if I were to go back, I know like Dylan M from Skillshare, she did a 100-day project, or a 365 project maybe, and she posted her daily updates in a Skillshare project, which I think is such a smart idea, because it's hard to post every day and like know that people are seeing even the days that are like, you don't like, and are not up to your like caliber of work. Like I did this one day and I was like, it's just not there. And if I were not like wedded to posting every day, I wouldn't have posted it. But again, like, it's the other side of the coin, where sometimes you post something that you think is terrible, and that's the one that takes off, and like that's how you get rich and famous or whatever. So I guess you can't have it both ways. But I do really like to know that now that I'm working, I can just like post only if I really want to. This is from a Still Life challenge. I really like zooming in on one particular part, and I think like the color palette of this is exactly what I want to aim for. So this one's kind of a shorty, because not a lot of pages in this guy. And now we're up to my present day sketchbook. This one has lots of pages. It's the 1 Canoe 2 sketchbook. It's not super thick paper. Like, it's not the kind of paper I'd like. It's basically the polar opposite of the last sketchbook. Like, it's a lot thinner paper with a lot of pages. And I think, like, if I were to buy the sketchbook again, perhaps I would use it for dry media only, because, like, the spot illustrations, like, they work fine. Like, it's not ruining the paper or anything. Good for markers, good for mixed media. But then once you get into, like, covering the page, it starts to warp. So you see, after I get a few pages in, I stopped using the backhand side for painting as well. Like this one, oh wait, no, I did. I mean, I guess it depends on how you use the medium, but yeah, I still like the sketchbook. So around here, I can tell, like, I can feel how burnt out I'm getting. And I remember at this point, I was just like so ready to stop posting daily. Like, I just wanted to do my own work and work on projects longer. I think that was part of the issue, is that, like, I wanted to have the time to just, like, sit here and then the next day come back to it. And that's what I've been doing lately in my personal work. Like, just do the base layer of like 3 paintings and then come back the next day and do the details of a few paintings. I really like this guy. I feel like I'm going to do something with him, maybe a sticker or something, TBD. And then around this time, yep, this is the last one. So I felt a ton of pressure about, like, what to do for your last day of 365 project. And then I realized, like, I could redo what I'd done in the beginning. I felt like, I don't know, maybe I've improved a little bit, but I didn't feel like super strongly about, like, having defeated my whole art block situation that I had started the project for. So I didn't look back at the first day. I knew it was a bunny with blue stars. Like, it's pretty, like, much a self-portrait. So then I just did this based on that memory, and it is so funny to see them back and forth. Let me grab the other one. Like, check out that difference. That's, it's pretty crazy, I think. Like, even, you can even see in, like, my star forms how they have evolved and improved. I mean, I guess you could call this, like, a stylized version, but, like, it's not really me. I like this way better. And the colors are so improved. Like, everything is improved. And who'd have known? Like, I recently listened to a podcast from Andy J. Pizza talking about how, like, style is something that you can do consistently, not necessarily, like, you just want, like, you can always make good work. Like, I look back at work that I made, like, 6-7 years ago, and I can still be like, oh, some of that is good. And, like, what I am working towards is being able to consistently make work always that I really like, even if it's not, like, every sketch I do, but every time I want to make a specific piece, like, that's what I'm aiming for. So would I recommend you do this project? Absolutely. I think if I were to go back, I would perhaps do what I said before and post on a Skillshare class instead, or, like, give people updates on the ones I really like. Be like, hey, I'm on day 15 on Instagram, versus, like, posting every day on Skillshare. Also, I honestly, like, not sure I could do it if it wasn't COVID times. It'd be a really difficult sell for me to work all day, do my painting, and, like, miss out on whatever things are happening. So I would definitely recommend it. I did end up with a Skillshare class coming out of this, because I did a lot of research about, like, how to defeat art block, what kind of exercises can you do, and I end the class by saying, like, you should do a 365 or 100-day project. I think 100-day probably is more manageable. But I guess in the end, it's all about building up the habit, right? And so now I am a couple of months out, because I'm a little late with this video. And I am still pretty much painting every day. Like, I took a couple of days off when I, like, actually got to see friends, because I'm vaccinated now and could hang out with people. But for the most part, like, I still work all day, and then I switch to my couch desk so I can do my painting of the day. So I think, like, that in itself is super valuable, just, like, building up the habit. And I think you could probably build that doing a 100-day project. So I hope this was interesting. I hope to have some more illustrations that are more finished and polished, versus, like, doing these one-day, like, one-off illustrations. So stay tuned on YouTube and Instagram and TikTok and all those places, and I'll talk to you soon.